Good. All right, let's go ahead and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thursday, August 7th, to the Board of Shawnee County Commissioners work session. I'm Aaron Mays. I represent District 3. On my left is Commissioner Bill Rippon, representing District 1. On my right, Commissioner Kevin Cook, representing District 2. Good morning.
Good morning.
Our County Clerk, Lisa Schmidt, is on my far left. Good morning to you. And our County Councilor, Rich Eckert, all the way down at the end. Good morning to you as well. This is certainly going to be a fun day. I know we've had a few of those lately, so let's go ahead and dive into our first item, which is the CIP and budget discussion for 2026.
I feel like I converted you. You said it was fun. Jennifer Sauer, Financial Administrator. So picking up where we left off, I do have one update that I needed to make. The appraiser's office notified us that they were going to be able to make an additional cut for their staffing adjustment. Let me find that amount real quick. I know it will end up being, hang on, I guess I don't need to. It is the full 5%, so they were able to do 128,032 for their staffing adjustment. They were able to do some further study and realize the full 5% savings.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Jennifer, just as a reminder, the $150,485, that just brings us down to what we have published as to the mill levy.
That is absolutely right, and that is the number that I just added down here. I added a new one. So the 154.85 brings us to the published maximum mill levy, which is 49.326. If you wanted to stay with a flat mill levy of 48.326, you would be looking for another $2,522,485. If you wanted, a bigger challenge.
And again, for the 27th pay period, we're already drawing from reserves to pay for that.
That is correct. Any amount of reserves that we had left over from 2024, we will be asking it to carry over to use in 2027 or 2026's budget to pay for the 27th pay period. And that's, as we said earlier, we pay biweekly, therefore every 11 years you have this anomaly where you end up with 27 pay periods in a year instead of 26. And instead of trying to have a direct effect on our mill levy because of that one-time spike, we are choosing to use our reserves for that one-time payment and spike.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Following your lead, is there anywhere in particular? I believe we have most department heads here, if not all.
Thank you all for being here.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm looking at the increases over 2025 primarily. And, you know, going down the line, a couple of them are things that we've absolutely had to do. Looking at community corrections and emergency management, elections, we have to do that because there's a bigger election next year. And, I mean, we're now to the point where I feel like we've cut from most of the places that we can. And there's still a couple, I feel like, that had pretty significant increases that we've not made much adjustment to. And I would say that probably need to look at the district attorney's budget. And I think we probably need to revisit Vallejo. And then I think we also need to look at our capital outlay. I mean, those are the three areas where I see the most wiggle room, I guess you could say. The district attorney's increase was primarily wages. It's about a 12% increase over last year in wages.
The district attorney is here.
Yeah, I mean, and we've heard from him. I don't doubt that the wages are necessary, but you know, I don't doubt that Vallejo's ask is necessary as well. I mean, we're just to the point where, you know, we're looking at last year versus this year, and some things are going up more than others. I mean, and we've had, you know, Public Works took a 5% cut. That's going to affect our roads in Shawnee County. I mean, infrastructure is important. It's a safety thing.
Sheriff made a significant cut.
Sheriff made a $1 million cut. I mean, we've seen it. It's not easy for anyone at this point.
Department of Corrections scaled back their mental health.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a big, nice mental health facility coming online. We're very proud of that. But it's only going to be staffed for half the year at half of the staffing that we really need for the facility. So, I mean, we're making sacrifices in places we don't want to make sacrifices at this point. So,
Morning, Commissioners. Mike Kage, Shawnee County District Attorney. Yes, you have heard from me. And I understand you're going to do whatever you think is best for the county, but I need to make the record perfectly clear here on a couple of items, because I don't know that I've done that adequately. Wages are the primary driver of the increased cost, but specifically, we moved away from using diversion funds. We've done that after consultation with the county counselor's office. That cost is now reflected in the budget, so that's part of that increase. We talked about that before. Commissioner Mays, you specifically said you did not want to continue funding the cold case fund, and so I made a commitment to move that funding into the budget. I've done that too. So both of those factors are affecting this increase as well. I'm not going to stand here and pretend to tell you how to do your job, because that's your job. And I respect you, and I respect you all. And I know you're going to do whatever you think the right thing is. I'm not a department head. I'm an independent elected official. I am the district attorney for the 3rd Judicial District, and I have an independent, ethical, statutory, and constitutional mandate by law to carry out the functions that I am doing. This isn't something that I just feel like doing. And as you've heard from me, consistently we have delivered, and we have not just had a good year, we've had a historic year. And if you are not able to fund this budget request, that will not be able to continue. And we will have attrition, we will have loss in our staff numbers. And that will affect our ability to file cases on time. That will affect our ability to achieve these outstanding outcomes. There will be real-world consequences that affect the public safety of this county. You make the decision that you think best. And when you do that, understand these decisions have consequences.
But, Mr. District Attorney, at the same time, we're not looking at a cut to your budget. You're asking for an increase to your budget of almost $1 million, $800,000 in 1 year. And I think that's what we're looking at, is that large of an increase of $800,000 in 1 year to add to the budget you already had from the pre-existing year. And so I think that's what a lot of the focus has been on, is that large of an increase in 1 year. And when you speak of that there will be, I think what you mean to say is, I hope that there is not, but there could be. To say that you are going to lose staff, I think, is premature. Your concern is, I'm going to lose staff to other agencies, other departments, other jurisdictions. So,
Commissioner Cook, with all due respect, you have your job to do, I have mine to do. You're not the DA. You can't tell me what's going to happen inside my office, because you don't know. I do. This is based on historic trends. We did our own wage study, and I'm telling you, this is reality. This is what has happened this year. This is what will continue to happen. Yes, it is an increase, primarily driven by wages, but not exclusively. There are other factors at play. And I understand that number up on the board right now, 856,000, I understand that's a big number, but it's not remotely close to being the biggest number on the board. So, again, I'm being as clear as I can. You will do whatever you think you need to do. You will do whatever you think is best. And I respect the fact that you have a job to do. I do too. And I'm doing it right now.
You said you did your own pay classification study.
We did our own wage study, yes.
What was the results of that?
We are behind neighboring jurisdictions that do our same work.
Did you do increase in salaries though?
Yes.
What percentage would you say?
Not enough to bridge that gap, but enough to close that gap. My new attorneys, my younger attorneys are 20% behind. I'm trying to get that down to 10%. There's only so much you can do by having a winning culture and a great team. At the end of the day, if they can go somewhere else, do the same exact work and get paid to do it, that's hard to compete with. Look at the vacancies we have. We're trying. We are fighting every single day. My attorneys are underwater right now. I told you about our ethical caseload limits. We're at least at the max, if not beyond that. So, if there are cases that we should not prosecute anymore because of funding, I would love to hear your ideas. But this is the reality.
I understand what you're saying. I mean, but we hear, I mean, the same thing from, Parks and Rec about our lifeguards. We hear it from the health department about our nurses, the sheriff's department about their deputies. The corrections about their corrections specialists. I mean, there's a number of jobs in public safety in the county, and, if it were up to me, everybody would get a huge raise. I mean, it's not just public safety too. I mean, our trash collectors, they probably don't get as much as they deserve either. I mean, everyone that works in public service is on the front lines in some form or fashion, and they're all underpaid, in my opinion. So, I mean, I understand that. Well, we're talking about wages. Let's talk about numbers. Have you added staff? Have you downsized any because I mean, you are an elected official, right? So you control your own department differently than our other departments, where they have to come to us and ask for permission to do wage increases, or, you know, and nobody, is there anyone that's union in your department at all?
No.
Okay, so, I mean, where are your numbers at in terms of your workforce? So have it's gone up, down, stagnant?
I can tell you I've eliminated 2 attorney positions and 2 support staff positions from my budget request. I can tell you that my staff is, I told you last year was the first time we were fully funded. What I meant was that was the first time we had adequate funding for the positions necessary to carry out all of our functions. And what we're trying to do here is to make sure that we can stay market competitive within public service. And that's what's driving that increase. I'm not looking to add new positions with the increase. And I'm not trying to dismiss the contributions and the service of anybody in this room. I have tremendous respect for everyone that works in public service. Absolutely. I agree with everything you just said.
Any other questions?
You mentioned team. You have a good team. We're all a team here. And to be a good team player, sometimes you have to make some sacrifices. And I just feel like we may have to make some cuts. And I appreciate you fighting for your people, but in your position. But I think we're going to have to make some tough decisions here.
Any further questions for the DA? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
One of the themes I'm hearing is we think people are probably underpaid. We need to look at that. I think maybe it's important we try to get that pay classification study.
Even if we only do it for the non-union employees, just to see how they stack up against everybody else.
Yeah.
Well, I think I've made it clear that I'm not going to support that. I mean, at this point, adding money back into the budget is, in my opinion, going the wrong direction. And I don't know, if we did it for just non-classified employees, is that going to cut the cost of that from proposed $100,000? I mean, we've got a lot less positions that are not classified.
If we were to lower the number of positions included in the study, it would reduce the cost of the study. I don't know how much at this time. We'd have to go back and look at that, but it would reduce cost.
Okay, thank you. So,
Without the ability to make motions at a work session, this is discussion only.
sure.
And I think we've heard from all of our departments on the budget. I don't know what more substantial progress we're going to be able to do to the budget. I would like to take a look at our CIP, maybe to see where that is at, if the commissioners don't object.
Yeah, well, I think we should do that because that is another place where it went up a little bit. So that's in the capital outlay.
Yes.
So let's turn our attention to the CIP then, and we'll have to revisit this at our next meeting.
So for the capital outlay funded requests, where we left off at the last meeting was that we were going to attempt to find other funding like the reserves for the election equipment increases. So that was $3,044,000 that we were going to be pulling from reserves. There is a request for new debt of $36.5 million. Those were predominantly, actually, I think those were all just Parks and Rec projects that they had wanted to document the need for these projects in the future. I don't think they were necessarily saying they had to happen in 2026. I think they were just making sure that they were in your view for the 5-year plan, which leaves the $2.9 million worth of requests out of capital outlay for 2026. Since the time that we last discussed this, we have replaced our intermittent facilities manager with a full-time facilities manager. So Justin's been here for, I think, 3.5 weeks now. But I believe part of what he's been looking at are the capital outlay items. And so if you have any questions on those facilities items, he may be able to shed some light on those or give you his perspective of some of those projects. I don't know. I'm just kind of
Well, I think it'd be great to hear from him.
offering him up here.
I don't think he's had the opportunity to talk budget with us before.
Here, hang on just a second. Let me filter these so you can see just the facilities ones to help you out. Will that work? Since I didn't even warn you I was going to do that to you. Those are the 3 that are this year's.
Morning, Commissioners. Justin Landon, Director of Facilities. I believe the window replacement for the admin building you had put on hold, so I
Right.
don't think that needs to be on there for continuing. The JP Lewis front entry door does need to be done. It is in rough shape. We're having to make repairs on a regular basis to keep it operating. The courthouse restroom renovations is definitely something that needs to continue to be done. There's a lot of concerns with needing to add more stalls and then make other areas more ADA compliant, better to serve the public. And then the elections office HVAC control system, it's something that could be put on hold, but again, could need to be done.
Have you had a chance to go look at that HVAC? I know that we've had some, I mean, HVAC is something we're always talking about. And I feel like sometimes we spend more money than we should on stuff. I mean, is $75,000 an accurate reflection of what it's gonna take to get that fixed?
I believe there could be an adjustment to that to go lower.
Okay. And then the JP Lewis floor, do you remember, like, I don't recall what kind of materials we were looking at for that. Was it tile or vinyl? Or?
It's a vinyl, I believe is what it was.
Okay. Is that still what you'd recommend, what we were looking at before, or?
I think we could look into other options to potentially try and change that amount that's requested. It's not in terrible shape currently.
Part of it is.
Part of it is, but I don't know how you feel on that.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher, Director of the Health Department. What had previously been discussed was to maybe move away. It's all one piece of the flooring. It's an older style. And so what we had previously discussed was moving to similar to what like carpet squares are, to have that ability. So if we had pieces that needed to be replaced, it would be easier down the road, looking at the longevity of it. But this would be for the entryway, that long hallway that we have, through our WIC waiting area back into our waiting, our WIC exam rooms, and then on down the hall back to our back half of our building that's locked. So it's a pretty good portion of flooring, but it was believed to be potentially original to the building.
Okay. Is there any kind of health code regulations about that has to be a solid surface? I mean, would carpet tiles? You mentioned carpet tiles. Is that an option there? I mean, I don't know if that's more expensive or less.
I would not recommend it.
Okay.
We have a hard enough time keeping our carpet clean, so I think we need.
Use it like carpet tile.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That was maybe a poor analogy to use, so.
Okay.
But just something that could be replaced without having to, because the state we're in now is that portions would have to be cut out to try to mend it back together.
Okay.
And Commissioners, I misspoke at the beginning. I thought that said door replacement, not floor replacement, so.
All right, any further questions? All right, thank you.
Yep.
He's officially broken in now. I believe you had asked for some additional information from the event center. I'm not sure. I have never received that breakdown for how much was for each of the different buildings. And he is not here today.
I don't see.
He sent me a text earlier that he was on his way. He was running late, so.
Okay. Yep. I believe, I think you had asked him to give you a breakdown, but that was for an item that was for the new debt. So I don't think that actually applies to what you're looking for today. I do not have 70,000. Thank you, Mark. So part of the budget adjustment that IT was saying that they would be able to do, they currently have an older project from a couple years ago for some fiber that was to be installed along 12th Street. That fiber was installed, and we did not have to pay for that fiber. So Mark still has that project and said that he would like to be able to, he will ask you if he can reutilize that already granted money from a prior budget year, and he could remove this $70,000 for the switch distribution replacement. If you guys would be interested in doing that, we can remove this $70,000.
Certainly interested in doing that. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks for reminding me. I've been budget focused, so. Just leaving myself breadcrumbs so I can get this all to balance back later on. Would you guys like me to filter this down so you can only see the ones that still have money in 2020? I can do this so it's not as long of a list. So there are 14 projects that are still in the request for 2026 funding. And that would be the Smith detection machine replacement at the sheriff's office, paint striping truck for Public Works, work crew building fire detection system at the jail, courthouse restroom renovations, part 2. So this would be the second, actually the third amount of money for the courthouse restroom renovations. You had previously approved $100,000. Some of that went to the design, and then $250,000. And so this would be the last $250,000 to make the project funding hopefully be sufficient for the project. JP Lewis front entry floor replacement. The small item cap outlay projects that we get into details on further in the year. Quad field, Bettis turf replacement. Elections office HVAC control system update. The DOC security system upgrades. The adult detention center inmate transport vehicles. Park renovations at Garfield, Shawnee North, and Nana's Park. The event center portable chairs, pursuit rated vehicle replacements for the sheriff's office, and garage and equipment and tech updates for the sheriff's office for the facility that is on the corner of 17th. Isn't it 17th Street or is it? No, 21st Street. 21st and Topeka. Go ahead.
Shane Hoogler, Shawnee County Sheriff's Office. The garage update, if that's something that we could probably put off down the road. So if that's something that Commission would like to remove from this year's CIP, that would be something that we could work with.
Make that a little easier for everybody to read.
There's Kellen.
Hey, Brian. Hang tight. Yes, please.
Before Kellen walks up here, did you want me to do the deferral of the sheriff's garage to a future year, or did you want me to leave it in this year's?
I would like to hang tight this one.
Yeah, let's
Okay, that's fine.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kellen Seitz, Stormont Vale Event Center. Our CIP request, we were able to find some savings for those portable chairs. Some of those savings are going to be found by combining the usage of the chairs to be used both in Landon Arena and Exhibition Hall. So we're going to reduce the amount of chairs we're requesting. Just for clarification, the breakdown on the previous request was $365,000 for the chairs for the arena and $170,000 for the chairs in X Hall. By stripping it down to about 2,000 chairs instead of 4, we are going to be able to get that estimate down to about $350,000, cutting almost $200,000 from that request.
Thank you.
Very good.
Great news, thank you.
So a total of 350?
Yes.
Thank you.
We're getting closer on this.
It would have seemed to me that if the sheriff was to delay his, and if we were to reduce the parks renovations down from 300 to 290, that would cover the gap. I see Tim.
Well, he's at, 350 right now. So,
Tim Levin, Parks and Recreation Department, yeah, I think that would be ideal, but I mean, we're willing to move that back a year if we need to. The turf, in my mind, between our two projects is the most pressing.
I would agree.
And so if you wanted to cut that in half or even move it back a year, we'd be fine with
Well,
that.
instead of doing 350, if we did a portion of, I mean, just again,
Right.
looking at tackling, I think that I don't want to get behind, and that's my fear is if you delay it a year, the further behind you get, the harder it is to get caught up.
Correct.
And I think that, we need to have constant, just like everything else. You defer a project at your house, and then it costs twice as much when you get back to it.
Right. Yeah, that'd be ideal.
Well, so Tim, when we look at this, you've got 3 parks listed,
Yeah.
right? And, I mean, I know Garfield's in pretty rough shape.
Yeah, I think, the only thing, like Nana Park, for example, really the most pressing issue there is the parking lot. And that's not a very big parking lot. We can handle that on our own as not part of this project. But you're right, I think Garfield would definitely be the one of the 3 that we would want to work on first.
Yeah, and when we look at Shawnee North also, there's a request for, on the new debt portion of this to do something up there with that community center, which
Right.
is, 50 feet away?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like putting a brand-new playground in there, if we're going to do some serious heavy construction right next to it, doesn't make a lot of sense right
Yeah,
now, so.
yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Can't take action today, right? So,
Yeah.
I'm putting in here what you guys are talking about so you can see the effect of it, if that's all right. And then a reduction of what to Parks and Recs park renovation?
let's go, I mean, what,
Oh, again, we can't take action.
No, I know.
yeah, but I mean,
Just if you want to see what this would look like,
Yeah, 60
number-wise.
What was it,
I
60,000
don't,
reduced?
Tim, could you come back up? I'm sorry. the Nana Park it's a pretty small one, right?
It is.
So, I mean, I don't know, what's the going rate for a playground of that
Yeah.
size? Like,
I was just saying, if you did it at 290, leaving it at the discretion of their staff as to what, I mean, because we haven't got bids, we don't know what,
True.
we're still ways off. So instead of 350, have it at 290. That still gives them the ability, the flexibility to address the parks and getting bids. And who knows, some playground equipment might have a great deal going.
Well, that's true. We, at the end of the year, there are deals, and we usually take advantage of those. So we would try to do that again. Yeah, it is hard to estimate, because it's not a real, it's not a small children's playground. It's an older, it's the up to 12-year-olds. And so you're still probably over $100,000 for that,
okay.
150.
Yeah, and with Garfield, there's a lot of land to work with there. I mean, that the sky's the limit there. We could easily spend $1 million there.
Well, we could if we wanted, yeah.
So, we won't, not this year at least.
I understand.
Just so you know. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, 287. There you
That,
are.
so that would get us at the 2.5. I just don't want you to forget that you were also speaking about this being another spot that you would be able to cut in the main budget. Which is, you can't do one without you can't really nail this down until you know for sure what the capital outlay budget is. Or what that line of our budget is looking at being. But that does hit the 2.5 for now.
I don't know it is what it is.
Any further questions, Commissioner Rippon?
Nope.
Okay.
Do we want to talk about how we're not taking on $36 million in new debt?
Sure.
I mean,
So the items that were flagged for new debt were Parks and Rec, the West Edge Road Mill and Overlay, Family Park Facility Phase 2, Dornwood Complex renovation, Lake Shawnee Boathouse renovation, Shawnee North Community Center replacement, which I think you alluded to earlier, the Grange Hall at Old Prairie Town, and the Old Prairie Town Visitor Center and entranceway.
Maynard Conference Center is not on the list.
It is not. I was going to ask if you wanted me to put it on as a potential.
Well, $6 million. That was what the letter of intent said.
I'm with you.
The non-binding letter.
Non-binding.
And sorry, Justin, but I'm probably just going to sign it too.
Oh, thank God.
You-
Yours now, buddy.
You really didn't make me mad this morning. You're just.
there's also the possibility that we're gonna have to do some serious remodels to the old Harley-Davidson shop as well in the future. I mean, that's something that we need to consider, and I hope we'll get some grant funding. I know that you guys have been looking at that, but I don't think we have any kind of an estimate on price, but that is something that's kind of hanging over our heads right now also. And I wouldn't mind if at some point that Family Park phase two, if maybe we split that into two different items. One, just for the golf pro shop, because I think this 7,500,000 is encompassing of everything we were looking at, correct?
Hang on, sorry, before everybody starts freaking out because they just saw that. Sorry. And I know you gave me the breakdown for this, but I did not.
We basically took $1 million off, so we put 6.5 for Cypress Ridge and $1 million for the dog park. I kind of want to talk about that.
Okay.
This was this? Is that what you just told
Yeah.
me? Sorry. There you go.
Tim, we're at Parks and Recreation. So the dog park number, depends on what we want to do. We didn't spend nearly that for the off-leash dog area that we did at Lake Shawnee, but it doesn't have a lot of amenities. We put a shade structure in since we built it, has water, it's got a few picnic tables, that's about it. I would envision at Family Park that we would want to do something that's more closely like what we've done at Gage at the Bark Park, where you have a big dog area and a small dog area, lights, shade structures on both sides. So I think you probably are looking at a bigger number, somewhere in this $1 million range, but we haven't priced it out. As far as the golf course, we have preliminary numbers for it. 6.5, I hope we could do it for that. But it also includes the road coming into where the new clubhouse would be. That's not my area of expertise, but we'll see. I think we'll have to get into that before we know for sure how much we're looking at. Just also, real quickly while I'm up here, the clubhouse replacement of all these projects that we're asking to bond is probably the one in our minds that is the most pressing. And it's also the only one that has a chance of paying off the bond. The money that we're generating from some of the changes we're making will help to pay that bond off hopefully sooner. So just so you know, I'd love to have that $36 million that they showed earlier, but I know we're not going to get that. So.
Okay. And just to be clear also, this is possibilities. We're not issuing these bonds. So this is more of a wish list at this point. So
Sorry. No, go ahead.
The last time I was up here, and I think I've talked to you privately about the possibility of a donor that would help with that project. And that is still in play, but I don't think the level of money that we were talking about originally is probably going to happen. I think we're not going to be in that 7-figure range. I don't know that for sure, but that's the feeling that I have.
okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure we also keep in mind, there were also 2 items that were submitted as potential new debt in 2027 as well. And that was for the adult residential center and DOC renovations for inmate processing. So that's an additional $37 million. So we're looking at $37 million plus 42.5 plus the plus the unknown amount of the garage renovations.
Okay, well, let's stop adding to the list.
I'm great with that.
Maybe interest rates will come down some in the next year. We can only hope.
I hope for that on one side and hope for continuing to gain interest as a revenue source on the other.
Sure. Okay, any other questions or comments on capital outlay? Okay, then let's move on to our next agenda item, which is public comment, and I don't have anyone signed up for that, so we'll move to administrative communications, if there are any.
Sorry, you'll be sick of hearing this by the time it comes around. I want to remind the public that our revenue neutral rate hearing and our 2026 budget hearing is scheduled for September 8th at 9 a.m. and in this chambers, at the Board of Commissioners chambers at 707 Quincy. Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Landon, Director of the Weed Department. Just wanted to bring back some news. The meeting that I held earlier in the week with, in Newton with KDA. They are moving forward with the new noxious weeds. They anticipate those will be added this year, by the end of the year, and we will start cost-sharing chemical for those this year. There will be no reporting or enforcement on those until 2026, though. So they presented us with a cost share list of chemicals that we'll be able to use, as well as moving forward with those. As a reminder, again, it will be honeysuckle, the diffused and spotted knapweed, and then both species of teasel. So that's what I have for you, Commissioners. Any questions?
No.
Great. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher, Director of the Health Department. I want to remind everyone that next Friday, August 15th, from 10 a.m. until noon, we will be having our annual community conversation. So we'll be hearing some remarks from our health officer, Dr. Locke. We'll be hearing from the Kansas Health Institute, and we'll also be doing some work on our community health improvement plan that's currently being written. That will be at the Topeka Shawnee County Public Library and Marvin Auditorium, and we hope to see lots of you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Commissioner Rippon?
I have nothing to add.
Commissioner Cook?
Not today.
Okay, then we'll move on to the next item, which is executive session. We do have a need for 3 executive sessions today. One is for employer relations concerning the CWA, and that is for, what is it, matters of non-elected personnel. Then also for consultation with an attorney for the body or agency, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, and there are 2 of those. One would be to provide legal assistance discussing possible settlement of an employee claim, and then the other would be for management contract concerning an event venue owned by Shawnee County. So my motion is that we go into executive session for, what do you think, 45 minutes?
Oh, that'd be plenty.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's do 15 minutes for each. So that'll be my motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Mays, second by Commissioner Cook. Those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion passes 3-0. Let's start at 10 o'clock sharp. 45 minutes from then, and we are adjourned. No action was taken. We're adjourned.